Dhaka, the heart of Bangladesh, pulses with life. Rickshaws weave through bustling markets. The air hangs heavy with the scent of spices and the sounds of vendors hawking their wares. It's a city of vibrant chaos, a tapestry woven from the energy of millions. Yet beneath this lively facade, a darker current flows. Fear, like a chilling breeze, whispers through the crowded streets. It chills the laughter and casts long shadows over the city's soul. In the silence of the night, stories are shared in hushed tones. Stories of disappearances, stories of men snatched from their homes, never to be seen again. This is the duality of Dhaka, a city grappling with its vibrant spirit and a growing climate of fear. The fear is palpable. It's in the way people avoid eye contact. It's in the sudden silence that descends when a police vehicle drives past. It's a fear that speaks of a truth too dangerous to utter aloud, that in the shadows of this vibrant city, a hidden crisis unfolds. The year was 2004. Bangladesh, grappling with rising crime and militancy, sought a solution. A solution that came in the form of the Rapid Action Battalion, or RAB, as it would become infamously known. This elite force, comprised of members from the Army, Navy, Air Force, police, and the border guards, was tasked with tackling the nation's most pressing security challenges. Initially, the RAB was hailed as a success story. They were credited with apprehending criminals and dismantling militant groups. The people breathed a sigh of relief, grateful for the return of security. But power, once tasted, is intoxicating. The line between protector and persecutor began to blur. Slowly, insidiously, the RAB transformed. It became a weapon, wielded not against criminals but against critics, opponents, and anyone deemed a threat to the ruling regime. The very force meant to uphold the law became a law unto itself, operating with terrifying impunity. At the heart of this unfolding crisis lies the Awami League, Bangladesh's ruling party. Having ascended to power in 2009, promising a brighter future, the party has since tightened its grip on the nation's political landscape. Dissent is met with swift and brutal repression. The media, once a vibrant space for debate, is now heavily censored. Journalists who dare to criticize the government face intimidation, arrest, and even death. This climate of fear and repression has created a breeding ground for extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances. The RAB, once a symbol of hope, has become the Awami League's instrument of control, silencing any voice that dares to challenge their authority. The stories are chillingly similar. A late-night knock on the door, unidentified men in plain clothes, their faces hidden behind masks. A forced disappearance. Days, weeks, months pass with no word, no sign of the missing loved one. Then, a body surfaces, dumped by the roadside or found floating in a river. The authorities pronounce it another case of crossfire or encounter with criminals. But the bullet wounds, the signs of torture, tell a different story. They speak of a cold-blooded execution, a life brutally extinguished. These are not isolated incidents. They are part of a systematic and widespread pattern of extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances. Human rights organizations estimate that hundreds, perhaps thousands, have fallen victim to this brutal practice. Section 5. International outcry, condemnation, sanctions, and the quest for accountability. The world is watching. The international community has condemned the human rights violations in Bangladesh in no uncertain terms. Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, and the United Nations have all called for an end to the killings and disappearances, urging the Bangladeshi government to hold the perpetrators accountable. In December 2021, the United States imposed sanctions on the RAB and several of its current and former officials, citing their role in serious human rights abuse. This unprecedented move sent shockwaves through the Bangladeshi government and signaled a growing international intolerance for the ongoing atrocities. Section 6. The law's shadowy reach, impunity and the struggle for justice. Justice in Bangladesh is a distant dream for the families of the disappeared. The legal system, instead of safeguarding the innocent, often serves as a shield for the perpetrators. Cases are delayed, witnesses intimidated, and evidence tampered with. The culture of impunity runs deep, allowing those responsible to act with impunity. Despite the odds, families of the victims continue their tireless fight for justice. They march, they protest, they petition international organizations. They refuse to let the memory of their loved ones be forgotten, demanding answers and accountability from a government that seems determined to silence them. Section 7. Ghosts of the disappeared, families haunted by loss and uncertainty. The pain of losing a loved one is immeasurable. But for the families of the disappeared, there is an added layer of anguish, the torment of not knowing. They live in a constant state of limbo, their lives consumed by the search for answers. Every knock on the door, every phone call, ignites a flicker of hope, only to be extinguished by disappointment. The trauma of their loss permeates every aspect of their lives. Mothers age prematurely, their faces etched with worry. Children grow up without their fathers, haunted by the specter of their disappearance. The emotional toll is immense, leaving families fractured and broken. Section 8. Whispers of resistance, defiance in the face of fear. Despite the pervasive climate of fear, whispers of resistance are beginning to echo through the streets of Bangladesh. Human rights activists, journalists and ordinary citizens are finding their voice, demanding an end to the violence and oppression. They organize protests, document human rights abuses, and provide support to the families of victims. Their work is fraught with danger. They face constant threats, harassment, and arbitrary arrest. Yet, they persist, driven by a profound belief in the fundamental right to life, liberty, and justice for all. Section 9. The price of dissent. Crackdowns on journalists and human rights defenders. The Awami League, threatened by any challenge to its authority, has unleashed a brutal crackdown on dissent. Journalists who dare to expose the truth are targeted with defamation lawsuits, arbitrary arrests, and even physical attacks. Human rights defenders face similar persecution, accused of sedition, treason, and undermining national security. The space for free expression is shrinking rapidly, replaced by a climate of self-censorship and fear. The government's message is clear: dissent will not be tolerated. Section 10. A global fight, solidarity, and the universal language of human rights. The fight for human rights in Bangladesh is not an isolated struggle. It is inextricably linked to a global movement for justice, equality, and freedom. Across the world, people are raising their voices in solidarity with the people of Bangladesh. From the streets of London to the halls of the United Nations, the demand is clear: end the killings, stop the disappearances, and hold the perpetrators accountable. The fight for human rights transcends borders, uniting people from all walks of life in a common cause. Section 11. Towards a dawn of justice, hope and resilience in Bangladesh's struggle. The path ahead for Bangladesh is fraught with challenges. Yet even in the darkest of times, the human spirit finds a way to hope. The resilience of the Bangladeshi people, their unwavering belief in justice, is a beacon of light in these dark times. The families of the disappeared continue their tireless search for truth and accountability. Activists and journalists, despite facing immense risks, refuse to be silenced. Their courage, their unwavering commitment to human rights, is an inspiration to us all. It is a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the fight for justice must continue. For in their struggle, we see our own. The fight for human rights in Bangladesh is a fight for the soul of humanity, a fight that demands our attention, our solidarity, and our unwavering support.